Ken Allison with IDI, and we are getting ready to spray some foam. Today though, instead of one of the big high pressure rigs, we're going to look at low pressure foams, or what I like to call kit foam. So with that, we're going to look at a couple of different kits. We're going to start with this. This is about a 200 board foot kit. This is actually 205. And what we're looking at here is Handy Foam's product. Now with this kit, this is all ready to go. You'll notice inside here, you've got your gun. Your hoses are already attached to the canisters. This one's ready to go. If you're looking at one of the bigger kits, you're actually going to find that what's inside here looks a lot like a barbecue canister, but with this, the hoses are not attached yet because obviously we've got two different boxes and you need to set this up. But a couple of things about these kits. First off is storage. Now with Handy's product, the thing about that is you are able to keep it and store it at really just about any temperature you want, but in order to use the product, it needs to be between 70 and 85 degrees. Well, that's going to require some maintenance on your part in the fact that if I let this get cold, it actually takes 3 times as long to warm this up as it does to cool it back down. So if this is at 50 degrees and I need it to be between 70 and 85, it's going to take quite a while to warm that back up. I want to show you a couple of other things about it though, too. This is how the tip used to look with their product. Now, they had some leakage right around the face of the gun, so they went ahead and put an insert in this, and these work a lot better. Another thing that got changed is they have fan tips, and on those fan tips, actually that's the one I've got, for a flat tip, the new flat tip works a lot better. I've got Josh here from Handy Foam, and he's going to show you today. We're going to actually do some spraying. But one other thing, I want to go back to these kits. If you actually allow this kit to get over 100 degrees, there's a good chance this product's going to break down inside the canister. Just like our high pressure foams, these products are not made to cook, so to speak. So if you go up to 120, 140, you leave it in the pickup in the summertime, it's not going to perform. By the time you spray that product out, you're going to have a lot of problems with it. So with that, we're going to go ahead and pull these off the table. We're going to get set up inside the spray booth and start doing some spraying so you can take a look at the way the products work. All right, so I've got Josh here in your PPE. Are you ready for the Fukushima cleanup?
Yes, sir.
All right, so what he's got on, actually, we still have to go with a P100 filter cartridge mask. You can see all of his skin is covered. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and shake the product. We're going to go ahead and also get the gun ready. What you're going to notice that he's going to do as he puts this together is before we actually put a tip on the end of the gun, we're going to spray the streams out inside something that you're going to throw away. It could be a cardboard box, it could be a trash can, a bag that you're going to throw away, anything like that. But we want 2 nice clean streams coming out of the end of the gun. That way, after it goes through the tip, we know we get a good product mix. So with that, we're going to finish getting ready. So on this, we want to open both valves. I'll let you do it. But we want to open both valves and make sure that the product goes through the hoses but does not leak out at the end of the gun. Another thing you'll notice here that Josh just did, Josh, go ahead and pull that back a little bit. This is a safety on the gun. That way, as long as this is down, we're not going to pull that back far enough to really shoot a bunch of product outside of the gun here. So you can see we've got 2 good streams. We're going to get ready to spray some foam. So you're going to notice here, every kit is going to come with petroleum jelly. So Josh is going to go ahead and put this in the front of the gun. That way, where the chemical gets into, if chemical does happen to get inside here, we're keeping the oxygen out of there. That way, the ISO doesn't start to crystallize or we don't start to make foam inside the gun. So as you put the tip on, you're going to lock the base of the tip in here, and you'll notice he brought it up and it just snaps on the top of the gun. One challenge I have had is you want to make sure at all times when you're spraying that this stays upright. I've actually been in attics before where I was spraying and laying on the ground, and I look at the foam against the wall and I realize what I've got is bad foam. It's ISO rich or resin rich, and I look over and one of my canisters has fallen over because I took it out of the box. You want to make sure your canisters stay upright, that the dip tube stays down in the chemical. That way you get a good spray. Another thing is you're going to notice as we go to the wall, I want to make sure you're getting good foam. Good foam means you're going to have, as it goes to the wall, it's going to start to slowly rise. It's going to have that nice cream color. If you see something that's brown, it's going to be ISO rich. If it turns pretty white and it stays gummy, that means we're resin rich. You want to make sure both chemicals are coming out at the same time. If you have a problem, just stop spraying, take the tip off, go back, remake sure that you're getting both products coming out of the line equally, and then put a new tip on and go back to spraying. Everything should be good. So before we actually go to the wall, we want to make sure the product's working great. We're going to check the tack-free time. All that means, Josh is going to spray some out on the floor here, and we want to see in 45 seconds if we can touch it and not have it still be sticky. We want it to set up properly. Now we're at 45 seconds and we're tack free. The other thing you'll notice, Josh did pull off the tip. We want to make sure that if you're going to stop spraying for longer than 25 seconds, some say longer than 30 seconds, at that point, let me see your tip there, Josh. At that point, we've now made foam inside the tip. So what's going to happen is you're going to go ahead and get rid of this, make sure you've got enough petroleum jelly still in there, and then put on a new tip. Looks like we're ready to spray, so we're going to put a new tip on, and we're going to try and make a fan pattern or a flat pattern on the back wall. Okay, so here we are in the spray booth, and you're going to notice as you watch Josh approach the wall, he's actually going to keep his distance from the wall. Now, he's been spraying a while, so the goal is to get a nice pattern in this cavity. But depending on how far you are from the wall will actually determine how flat the foam is, how much rise you get, basically the softness or the finish of the pattern. So let's watch what he does. Beautiful. So what we're looking at now, a little bit here, we actually came over rising foam. That's one of the things where you're going to have a disturbance in your pattern. It'll create an area that's not going to look so good. But the other part is, right now we're about 1 inch. This product can be sprayed 2 inches, covered up with sheetrock. You can use it as 2 inches in insulation as far as in the floor. But if you were to spray this 3 inches, you would need to cover it with DC 315. That is an intumescent coating designed to protect it when, from people. So right now we're about 1 inch. We've got pretty good rise. We're going to be tack free. Now what we're going to do is look at it sealing in the floor, but I also want to kind of show you some of the distance that this will spray from. One of the things I want to point out before we go for this is what I would call an adjustable or variable speed gun. The farther he pulls the trigger back, the more product's going to come out. So I've asked Josh to do something we don't normally do, which is to spray across the floor to try and aim for the other side to give you guys an idea of the distance that this will shoot out product and also the volume that'll come out. So now that we're done spraying, we don't have to be done with the kit. This can be saved and it can be used. I've actually used them longer than the manufacturer recommended. I've had them up to 6 months, but really you're supposed to use this within about 30 days. In order to do that, you want to leave the expended tip on there already. This is full of foam. We've made foam inside this tip. We don't want air to get inside the gun. So we've set the safety, we've left it on the gun, and now all we need to do is close down the cylinders. We don't want to drain the pressure out of this. We don't want to add air into it. We don't want to do any of that. We just want to leave it like this. And then we want to make sure that if we're going to let this sit, we don't want to leave this longer than 2 weeks with the ISO inside the hose. That will actually crystallize. So if you're going to leave this longer than 2 weeks, you want to pull this tip off, go back to your trash can or your bucket, spray it out until you know you've got good ISO back inside this line, put the tip back on, and store it. Once you're ready to go, that's when you're going to grab a fresh new tip. After you've made sure you've got good clean product coming out of the lines, go back to spraying and you can use the rest of your kit. So in closing, obviously, you can make good foam with kits. Now, the one we used today was Handy Foam. I'd like to show you something else about theirs. I love the tip that they use with their kits. The reason why, it tells me whether the chemical I've got is ready to spray. It's really this simple. Here, if it's warm enough to spray, you can see I've got a nice clear tip, but if it's too cold to spray, the tip tells me my chemical needs to be warmer. I really like that. A couple of other points about it, they also have an open cell foam kit, which you're obviously going to get a lot more yield out of that. And they also have a high density foam kit, which is going to be your 3-pound foam for doing roof repairs and things like that. But as you can see with the 1.75 pound kit, we've made really good solid foam today. It's got good cell structure. All around, I call it a plus. You can see we didn't have to crawl all the way to the edge of the attic in order to spray it out. We got plenty of pressure, plenty of volume or distance out of the gun. I'd call that a winner. Hopefully, this is a product that'll work great for you. We've helped you get more out of it. That way it doesn't cost you as much per board foot. I'm Ken Allison with IDI, and we look forward to earning your business every day.